If you have to choose between you and the company, most of the time you should be choosing you. Obviously it's a balance. You need to make sure your company's looked after. You need to reinvest in your company, blah, blah, of course. But still, you are the primary focus of your universe. Everything serves you, including your company. That's point 13. Don't make the mistake I made with T2, putting it all back in and not looking after yourself. There's a reason why you can actually put this in the course. Look him up, Sir Philip Green with BHS. Billionaire, bought BHS, which is a big clothing store in England, saw it was failing, took billions and billions for himself, let it fail, let everyone's pensions go under, let it sink. Once he realized, you know what do I do here? Do I just make millions and billions for myself, or do I save this company? Nah, for me. He actually lost his lordship for it because they thought it was such an evil thing to do, because like 10,000 old ladies lost their pensions who'd worked there for like 40 years. Pretty evil. But the point is the same. As a billionaire, he understood, me first, company second. So he milked it. There was another company, it was a toy store, and they ran up until Christmas Day, and they took all the money for Christmas. No, it was a catalog. You remember the catalog? There was these Christmas catalogs. I can't remember. There's these Christmas catalogs, and you pay every month, and you build up this balance, and then before Christmas, you can order all your presents and all your food from the catalog. And they ran up until Christmas Day, and then they closed, took millions, and didn't deliver anything, ruined everyone's Christmases. I remember it was big in the news in England. They ruined something like 10,000 families' Christmases because they couldn't afford a Christmas anymore. But the managing director, because the managing director ended up going to court, but he still got away with it because it was legal, he took $7 million. He looked at his business and goes, you know what? I don't think this is sustainable anymore. I'm not going to put any more money into this shit. I'm going to take $7 million. I'm going to fuck it off. I'm going to deal with the big PR disaster. I'm going to go hiding and whatever. I've got $7 million. He looked after himself first. If he would have put that $7 million back in, the company would have gone bust a year and a half later and you'd have no money. Look after yourself first. Be ruthless with it. Take the money for you. There's no point in going through this stress for any other reason. So Sir Philip Green, look him up. He did it with BHS. And you can also Google Christmas catalog bankruptcy. And you'll see both of these people, both times the managing directors took their money. Same thing with the big banks when the big banks went bust. All the banking directors, you think they didn't take big money? When the big banks all fucked up, you think they didn't take their big bonuses first? The smart people know. Look after yourself first. Look after the business second. The smart people know that. Because as long as you're financially okay, as long as your bills are paid, your mortgage is paid, and you have money, everything's going to be all right. Right. Number 14, reputation control. I get lots of questions of people who say, well, what about, my reputation? People are saying bad things, etc., etc. To control your reputation is very, very simple. You need to do more good than bad. You're never going to have people 100% happy. But as long as in general you do more good than bad, you'll be okay. Also, you'll find that people don't often really go out of their way to slander you unless you've really, really pissed them off. And one of the easiest ways to piss people off is to ignore them. So, in business, no matter how bad things are going, you never ignore them. Even if they're blowing up your email and messaging you nonstop, I'm unhappy, I'm unhappy, I'm unhappy, try and find a solution. People only get worse and they only get bitter if they're ignored. Because if they're emailing you, then they're not writing all over blogs and forums and making their complaints public. They're complaining directly to you, which means you can manage it. So this is another very important thing about business. Everything I've taught you so far, you obviously see there was some struggles along the way. And I learned the most important thing you can do to manage your reputation is to take all the criticism personally so they can't spend the criticism anywhere else. So if someone has any kind of problem, contact them and say, hey, you got a problem, let's talk about it, let's see if we can work something out, blah, blah, blah. Even if they're a complete unreasonable idiot, if you continue to email them back and forth and let them vent a little, they're very unlikely to continue to just spread crap all over the internet. Because that's the world we live in now. It's easy to find customers with the internet and it's easy to lose customers with the internet. So for reputation control, make sure you're prepared to speak to people even when they're being dicks. That's point 14. Point 15, and this is very, very important. This is going to be a major way you should change your thinking in regards to business. So you've learned a lot of things so far and you're about to learn something else. And I think I've mentioned this before on Twitter, but if you missed it, this is very, very, very important. You have to change the way you think about money. And you're going to change the way you think about money by only thinking about money all of the time. So I'll give you an example. 99.9% of people who go in a coffee shop and buy coffee and sit down. If I go in a coffee shop, I go in, I look at the prices of the coffee, I look at how busy the place is, I buy my coffee and I sit down, and then I think, if I had to run this business, would I make money? Is there a way I could run this business and make more money? How much do I think the rent is in this establishment? How much are these coffees? How busy is it here? Do they sell cakes and sandwiches to make extra revenue? Who are the main customers? Well, it's mainly businessmen. I can see there must be a business district across the road. Why are the waitresses or why are the people who work here not hot young girls to attract more men to come in if that's the main customer? Think outside the box and look. If I were to open a coffee shop right next door, could I beat them? Are these coffees expensive? Are they cheap? Are they good? You have to start looking at every single business you interact with, every single one, and see how you would compete with them. Or if you had to run their business if you believe you'd make a profit. Because what you'll often find is you'll see there's a lot of people making mistakes and you think you could probably do better and you might be able to beat them. So you need to sit, and when you're going through your normal life, you're having your coffee, you're sitting in fucking Starbucks, whatever. Obviously competing with a multinational like that is going to be very difficult. But any business you interact with, just start training your mind to view their business, how you believe it works, everything from rent, overheads, the product, the profit margin, whether you think you could sell more, any tips or tricks they're missing, everything from start to finish. Just have a look and see if you can work it out. And you'll be surprised how much you learn about business self-taught. I do it with every bar I'm in, every restaurant I'm in, every coffee shop I go in, everything. Even simple things, like even things I know nothing about, like a mechanics. I don't know anything about fixing cars. Still, I'll look at the amount of cars they have around. I look at how much they charge me for my time, how much the labor is, how much I think they're charging the low-level workers, where's the big boss, how much is he making? You need to start thinking about money and thinking about businesses like this. Every time you interact with one, you need to analyze it. And your analysis will get better and it'll get more precise. Obviously, there's some information you don't know. You don't know exactly what the rent is. But you can estimate it. You should be able to estimate it. So this is one of the really important mind hack I teach anyone who wants to get serious about hustling and making money. You need to start approaching and looking at all businesses this way. Because what's going to happen is when you eventually open your own business, there's going to be some lessons that you identified, some mistakes you identified in the previous businesses that you're going to make sure you don't make. Whether you're opening a coffee shop or an online company, it doesn't matter what it is. You're going to identify the mistakes and you're going to change them. So even next time you buy something online, most websites nowadays are extremely streamlined. But still, if you identify a problem with the website, if you identify a problem with the email that comes afterwards, if you're unhappy with a particular aspect of customer support, if you don't like the packaging it comes in, whatever. Analyze everything and remember everything because you're going to use this stuff for your new company. So this is a very important mind hack. This is something you need to do permanently as a matter of habit. It's what rich people do. When they're sitting around money being made, or they're sitting around money being exchanged, because money's never made, money's only exchanged. When they're sitting around and they see money being exchanged, they work out exactly how and why and who's benefiting. So this is something you need to start doing as a matter of habit. It's extremely important.